Transportation is the backbone of any country's economy. When the transport systems are efficient, they provide economic and social opportunities. The benefits result in positive multiplier effects on nation's economy. Last week, the federal budget for Canada was announced. To understand the budget allocation towards Canada's transportation, we have with us the Honorable Transport Minister of Canada, Omar Alghabra. Welcome to Prime Media TV, Minister Alghabra.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Minister, for taking time out early in the morning. So we'll start with our first question today. What have been the priorities of your government in recently announced federal budget for Transport Ministry?
I need to remind your viewers of what we went through. I don't know if I need to remind the viewers. We went through a significant period over the last 2 years of COVID-19 pandemic with interruptions to our economy, to our lives. And I really want to say thank you to all Canadians. Canada now is coming out of the pandemic, even though the pandemic is still with us, COVID-19 is still with us, but we are certainly moving on as we are learning how to live with COVID. But we're coming out of this last 2 years period very strongly. Canada has one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, had one of the lowest death rates in the world, one of the lowest infection rates in the world. But now we're seeing also one of the fastest growing economies in the world. We've recovered and exceeded all the jobs that we lost during COVID-19. In fact, we've recovered 115% of the jobs lost, while the US only recovered 90% of the jobs that they lost. Our unemployment rate now is at an historic low, the lowest that it's ever been recorded at 5.3%. All that to say is that our economy is doing well, but we're seeing, because of COVID and the global pandemic, we're seeing some impact and stresses on our economy. We're seeing inflation, we're seeing challenges to our supply chains, we're seeing increased cost of housing. So our government, and we're seeing also labor shortage. This budget comes out to address many of those issues. So it's focused on making sure that houses can become more affordable by investing more in accelerating, building more homes, and in reforming our real estate market. Also, we're seeing investment in our supply chains, those supply chains that have been stressed during COVID-19, to ease the pressure on our supply chains, to ease inflation. We're seeing investment in labor shortage and immigration. All of those are meant to help the economy grow even better, faster. And I shouldn't forget, we're cutting taxes for growing small businesses. So there's been significant targeted, focused initiatives in this budget to help maintain the growth in our economy, but also to increase capacity within the economy, so we respond to the stresses and the pressures we're seeing on our supply chains, on inflation, on housing.
Rising fuel prices is one of the major reasons for current inflation in commodity and travel pricing. Is government taking some immediate measures to give some relief to Canadian residents?
So in this budget, we are seeing an increase of the climate change rebate that we're providing to Canadian families. You'll see a rise in the rebate, the checks that Canadians will start receiving quarterly. It is a rebate based on our climate action and pricing on pollution. That's going to offer some help. We've been also providing, some relief to Canadian families over the last few years, including one of the most recent announcements, a $10 a day daycare that families in British Columbia are going to see immediate cuts to their childcare fees. We're also seeing this budget make electric vehicles or zero emission vehicles more affordable. We're modifying and upgrading our incentive. So families in British Columbia who want to make the switch to electric vehicles now can have more of a rebate on more vehicles, so they can make the switch. Look, the people of British Columbia understand we need to be able to do two things at the same time: fight climate change and grow the economy. And British Columbians have been at the front line in suffering the consequences of climate change. So they all support the idea of switching to zero emissions vehicles and other type of technologies. And we want to make those more affordable. We want to give Canadians more options. So again, we can do two things: fight climate change, but also leave more money in people's pockets.
Government plans to discontinue use of older than 10-year-old trucks, whereas the inventory backlog of new trucks is at an all-time low. The waiting period to get a new truck are unbelievable. We see a lot of unrest in trucking community. How will you like to reassure them?
Yeah, look, absolutely, Deepinder. I think one of the things you're talking about is perhaps some truck drivers who do business with the Port of Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I know that the Port of Vancouver is working collaboratively with truck drivers on finding the best way moving forward. I understand that, especially small operators, truck driver who doesn't have the options of immediately buying a new vehicle, we want to work with them so they're not disproportionately impacted. I think all truck drivers understand the importance of reducing emissions, and they all want to do the right thing. So that's why we want to work with them. And right now, the Port of Vancouver is actually consulting truck drivers on modifying some of these rules to ensure that everybody has the ability to continue to do their job, but also to help in reducing emissions. And that's my office and I got involved in making sure that we're able to do this. But you gave me also a segue to talk about what this budget highlighted. We're actually introducing now a new incentive for medium and heavy duty trucks. So operators can find an ability to, if they choose and if they're looking for buying new vehicles that reduce emissions. We also have support for truck drivers who want to modernize or overhaul their truck to make it more fuel efficient. There's going to be future announcement about how we're going to deploy these investments to support truck drivers. So there's help on the way. But look, we all know that the future vehicles need to be zero emission. We're talking about the new sales. We need to be moving towards zero emission. So as truck drivers and truck operators are updating and upgrading their fleet and their vehicles, they're looking for options that produce less emissions, and we're working on providing incentives for them.
Indian diaspora, especially from Punjab, forms a big percentage of immigrant population in Canada. And for some time now, they have been requesting a direct flight to Amritsar from Vancouver and Toronto. Why is it such a difficult decision to make by Air Canada?
Yeah, Deepinder, I think your viewers will understand that it's not my job to answer on behalf of Air Canada. So I will
Right.
leave it up to Air Canada to provide an explanation. But let me just say this. My caucus colleagues, members of parliaments in British Columbia and in Ontario have shared with me the demands and the frustrations that community members have been raising. I know there's a demand for a direct flight. And, as I said to the community, Air Canada is a private company, and they will make their own decisions based on their own business assumptions. Having said that, I will, I'll be sharing the feedback that I've been hearing from the community with Air Canada to let them know that there is significant demand for such service, and I'm sure Air Canada will evaluate and hopefully reassess their decision. But I'm in no position, as you can imagine, to answer on behalf of Air Canada.
No, we are not seeking an answer, but just a push from your side, I'm sure, will help meet this long-standing demand of Punjabi community in Canada.
Again, I'm really aware. My colleagues have been letting me know, and some of my friends themselves have been talking to me about the frustration and the need for this service. I can assure you that I will be sharing it with Air Canada to let them know that I think there's a significant community expectation and demand for this service.
Canada Post delivery timelines is another cause of concern. A recent example was shared with our TV channel where an important document posted from Vancouver to Surrey took 8+ days to deliver. Is Canada Post having some delivery tats? Is something being done to take care of them?
Just a minor correction, if you allow me. Canada Post is under Public Service Ministry. It is not under Ministry of Transport. Having said that, I know that my colleagues are working on ensuring that there's a high standard of quality and delivery by Canada Post. I know the Canada Post workers are working very hard to ensure that they have a fast and efficient and affordable service. Look, I can't respond to a specific incident about what happened there, but I can assure you I'll take that feedback to my colleagues. And I want to thank all those who work at Canada Post for doing an amazing job, particularly during the pandemic. The pandemic, as I said earlier, has disrupted our lives, but also disrupted so many businesses. And now, as we are switching our economy back on, we're seeing there's a lot of, hiccups and imbalance, and I'm sure everybody's working hard on fixing that.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would want to talk about to our audience?
I want to say thank you first to you for doing this public service and the role that you play in providing dependable, reliable information to our community in a language and a culture that is sensitive to them. I want to thank our communities, Canadians of all backgrounds who stepped up during COVID, got vaccinated, followed public health measures. And that's why today we're finding ways to ease those public health measures to open up our economy. The contributions of the Punjabi community, the Indian community to Canada is significant, particularly during COVID. So I want to say thank you to everyone for their patience, for their commitment, for looking after each other. We need to remain vigilant. COVID is still with us, but hopefully we are figuring out how to live with it in a better way. And thank you for providing feedback, advice, ideas. We're all here to listen to you, to serve you, to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to succeed in Canada.
Thank you so much, Minister Alghabra, for your time. We look forward to have you back again with an update around implementation of your discussed plans.
I look forward to it. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much, Minister. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you, audience, for watching this special segment with Honorable Transport Minister of Canada. We promise to be back with more updates around issues which touch your daily lives. Till then, stay safe and keep watching Prime Asia TV. Tohada apna, tohade lai.